So, wir haben jetzt 19 Uhr. Ich glaube, dann können wir auch pünktlich beginnen. Erst einmal freut es mich, dass so viele Leute heute teilnehmen, wenn Coach Gibbs für uns einen kleinen Vortrag hält. Ich habe hier in der Mitte von meinem Screen, den ich gerade geteilt habe, das lösche ich gleich, seht ihr nochmal so ein, zwei Stationen, die Coach Gibbs in der letzten Zeit bekleidet hat. Grundsätzlich zum Kontakt mit Coach Gibbs bin ich über Twitter gekommen. Und da ist so ein bisschen die Idee entstanden, dass wir vielleicht ein, zwei Themen aufgreifen und dann durchaus auch in so einer Zoom-Klinik präsentieren können. Dadurch, dass wir ja alle gerade so ein bisschen von Langeweile beseelt sind, dadurch, dass wir kein Training haben. Und daher ist es durchaus eine gute Gelegenheit, auch mal andere Perspektiven zu hören. Grundsätzlich, also Coach Gibbs, wie ihr seht, hat ja 15 Jahre an Highschools bisher gecoacht, 14 Jahre davon als DC. War USA Football Coach 2016, der für das Team USA. Danach in den Jahren 18 und 19 Head Coach gewesen der U17 der amerikanischen Auswahl, 2020 der Auswahl Japans. Und Coach Gibbs wird heute über Defense-Philosophie und Tackling sprechen. Und ich hoffe, dass ihr das eine oder andere mitnehmen könnt und würde dann jetzt direkt an Coach Gibbs übergeben. So, Coach Gibbs, now it's your turn. We're excited to hear your talk.
Oh, thank you. Hey, guys, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to come talk to you guys. It's an honor and a privilege to be speaking with so many great coaches throughout the world. Hopefully you guys can get a little bit out of this. I'm going to go through our defensive philosophy and what we do, and, you know, kind of talk to you guys about putting in a system in, and I'll get into some of our 3-4 stuff. I'll get into some of our nickel pressures that we run out of a 2-down package. But again, you guys can implement this in any way, whatever fits your personnel. That's one thing I think hopefully you guys can take out of this, is that over 21 years of coaching, I've changed my philosophy to fit my teams and my personnel and what we're really successful with. So, you know, you guys year to year, you might change depending on the players that you have. So, and then I'll get into, you know, how we do tackling and how we grade it. And I'll get into our philosophy of tackling. And again, if you guys want to reach out to me, please don't hesitate to, you know, reach out through social media. I can email you guys anything you need. You know, we're all going through this stuff together all over the world. So I think it's a really great experience for me personally to talk to you guys from all over the world, and I'm humbled and honored to be doing this. And you know, I hope I do a good job representing the game, and you know, I wouldn't be here without it. So I'll go through our defensive philosophy first. I'm pulling my huddle up here. Now we're moving. Okay, so first thing I'll talk about our philosophy and kind of how we build our defense. You know, any defense that I've been a part of, fortunately, since I've been coaching, we've been very fundamental. I've kind of changed my philosophy a little bit as I've moved different locations. I started out in the Northeast part of the United States, where you don't see as many athletes as you do in Florida. So, you know, we were pretty basic in our fundamentals, and but, you know, the core principles of what I've learned at a young age when I first started coaching at 21 years old, it's stuck with me. But obviously I've adapted to different philosophies, and I've met with different college coaches throughout the years, and you know, kind of tweaked to what we've been good at. But as I moved down to Florida, I've you know, had to kind of change, you know, what I've done and what we're doing. And but, you know, again, at the end of the day, our core principles stay the same. So First thing we talk about, and I think this is something that you guys can take right off the bat. The top equation we talk about is S plus T minus X equals W. So for us, when we do our install meeting, that's the first kind of thing that we talk about with our kids is, how are we going to be a successful defense? So we talk about sacks plus turnovers minus explosive plays equals wins. So from a defensive perspective, obviously you want to get after the quarterback. You want to create turnovers because you want to, either A, you're trying to score as a defense, or you're trying to get your offense the ball and limit your time on the field. With the game evolving and all this up-tempo RPO stuff that we're seeing, we want to try to get our offense as many possessions as possible, and then obviously keep their offense off the field. When we talk about an explosive play, you guys have to define for your team what an explosive play is. So for us, it's a play that's 15 yards or more. So we want to try to limit 15 yards or more as an explosive play. And then if we can do that, if we can sack the quarterback, if we can create turnovers, our goal is 3 turnovers a game. So you guys, set, if you guys want to do for half, if you want to do for the quarter, for the game, it's up to you guys, how you want to predicate that to your team. And then if we can do all 3 of those things, if we can get sacks, if we can get turnovers, and we can limit explosive plays, there's a very good chance that we're going to win the game at the end of the day. So that's can you turn the dining room light on for me? Thank you. That's for us. That's part of our core philosophy. So we talked to our kids. This was our goals for 2019, and obviously we'll change it when we get. We lost our spring practice. Our school shut down for the whole year, so we're still trying to figure out what we're doing. In our high schools, but B+2 at practice every day. So for us, we tell our kids, all right, hey, listen, it's Tuesday. What could you do better from Monday's practice? Do something better. So, you're always going to be building on that, on that previous practice. Maybe it's, your mental capacity, were you focusing on in practice enough? Was it a physical thing with a tackling drill, or, did you blow a coverage? Did you blow an assignment? Look at what you could do from the day before to get better and stress that to your kids. It's a long season, right? So we try not to get complacent. So just because you feel that your position or your players feel that they're doing well, don't mistake complacency for greatness. So always try to look at what you're doing and always try to build upon that. Don't be stagnant. And it's easy to do that in a long season. It's easy to say, we don't need to do that, or I watched the film and the kids are okay with that. But what really is okay? If you want to be a championship football team, you really need to look at the fine details of what you need to attack every day. Because when you get to the playoffs, when you get out of regular season and you get to the playoffs, everybody's going to be good. So what's going to set you apart from the team that you're playing? It's going to be those minute, fine little details that you need to practice. The next point for me is pretty big, and it's desire to excel and not the fear to fail. So when a player makes a mistake, okay, how do you handle that? If you came to one of my practices, I'm going to coach my kids the same, but I'm not going to jump on them, jump down their throat for every little thing. I'm going to pick my spots with my kids because everybody's coached different, right? So you're going to have the player that needs a kick in the butt. You're going to need a player that needs a pat on the back. So you need to figure out what type of kid do you have, but you don't constantly want to be jumping on them and harping on them, because then they're just going to shut you off. They're going to tune you out, and then you're going to lose that player. You want kids that want to fight for you, play in your system. So you have to show them the same thing. So, just if you're going to make a point, make it collectively. Grab a kid, pull them aside. You could coach them up hard and hug them after, but kids today are different. They're different than when a lot of us played. A lot of them don't take constructive criticism like we did when we played. So you have to kind of figure out, how can I tweak different messages to different kids, and then you'll be successful going forward with that. And the next point, if you had all my kids on defense here, they get tired of hearing me say this. I say it in the weight room, we lift, out on the field. I'll even say it in a game on Friday night. You don't wake up to be average. it's easy just to get out of bed and roll out of bed and just kind of go through the motions of the day. But what are you doing to get better? You guys that are here, the 40, 50 guys that are here, you're getting better today. I'm getting better today with you guys here. So what are you doing to improve yourself every single day? And for our kids, it might be schoolwork. It might be helping somebody out at lunch. It might be tutoring a teammate. It doesn't necessarily have to be athletically based, but you can curtail it to however you want to do it. But I say it every day: weight room, practice. When I see him in school, what are you doing to get better today? I helped my brother with his homework last night. Awesome, man. That's great. So you're building a culture of kids that want to continue to get better, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, but once you get everybody pulling in the right direction, it's awesome. There's nothing better. The last one is from my high school head coach. That if you guys are thinking about getting the book that Coach discussed in the beginning, I talk about Coach Kaboo. He would say this to us all the time, and it reigns true. If you think about it, you're either getting better every day, you're getting worse. You never stay the same. So tomorrow you'll be different than you were today, but it's up to you to figure out what are you doing to get better. If you just want to get up and not do anything to get better, then somebody else is getting better than you are that day. So some coach is putting in time like you guys are today. So right now, the teams that you guys play, you're getting better then, because you're taking the opportunity to sit here and listen to this, and I'm getting an opportunity to get better by listening to you guys. And when we start doing question and answer stuff. So that's a huge thing for us. Huge. So those are kind of like our foundational things. I'll get into our specific goals for the defense next. But I think if you guys can implement this stuff and just kind of get everybody on your staff on the same page, right? So as long as everybody's speaking the same language, it'll take a little time, but you guys will everybody be pulling in the right direction, man. And there's nothing better than that, because you guys are going to be going to battle on the football field. Okay. So our goals and what we preach for our defense. First and foremost, obviously, we're all competitors in here. We all want to win. Okay. I stress, our coaches stress, there are to be no traitors on defense. What I mean by that is if you do not run to the football, you will not play defense for me. It's plain and simple. I did a podcast the other day for a coach in Mississippi here in the United States, and he asked about that. And I said, I have been in practice, because we wear our defense. We've adopted the black shirt mantra. So every one of our kids gets a black practice jersey that plays defense. I have stopped practice in the middle of a practice in the fall and in the spring, and literally taken a kid out, taken their black jersey off, given them a white jersey, and sent them to offense because they don't want to run to the football. So you make it like it's a badge of honor to wear that jersey. So then the kids are buying into what you're selling, and the other kids on the team are going, man, I don't want to – I'm going to run to the football. I'm going to run to the football now. So everybody's getting – and again, it's that foundational part of the culture. It's that foundational part of the culture. So from a statistical category, now what we're doing this year, what we haven't done in the past, is we're going to have a goal board up in our coach's office, and then we're going to give out helmet stickers when we win for every one of these categories that we achieve based on the stats. So again, it's something tangible. Kids like that stuff. Players like the stickers. They like that kind of stuff, right? So we're going to create one or more turnovers and touchdown against. All right. So if we give up 7 points, we want to create 2 turnovers. The goal, the plateau line for us is we want to be at the 17-point or under barrier, because we feel with our offense, we can score 3 touchdowns and win the game. So we want to hold our opponent to 17 points or less. Now, obviously, shutouts are great. Makes you feel good about yourself, right? Okay. So, at the end of the day, but we set that goal for our kids. Because again, our state is full of guys that are playing on the FBS level. I mean, I can just think of the first 3 weeks of our season coming up. We got guys that are committed to Alabama, Georgia, Miami, Florida, University of Texas. So, I mean, we're seeing some dudes. All right. So, and then when we get to the playoffs, the teams from Miami, that's like a whole nother animal. Now for the secondary and the back 7, intercept 2 out of every 15 passes. We see so much passes in RPO. So we'll see 20 to 25, maybe even 30 pass attempts per game. So we want to pick at least 2 of those off. And if we double those, we'll just double the stickers. No runs over 20 yards. That goes back to that S plus T minus X. And again, you guys can say, just take it and use it for what you want to do. You can say 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, whatever you want to do. Inside the red zone. Now, so what we do with our red zone is we'll split it up. And I got this from Tom Coughlin when he was the coach of the Giants. They have the red zone is the goal line from the 20. The green zone is from the 10 to the goal line. So green, we talk about making our money. All right. So from the 10-yard line in for us is the green zone. Okay. We want to hold opponents under 100 yards rushing. Now this was something I got from Coach Tim Andler. He's at the University of Nebraska now, but this is when he was at the University of Central Florida. I found this statistic like unbelievable. You have a 93% chance of not allowing a score, field goal, or touchdown if you get a sack on a drive. So if you can get that into your players' heads that, hey, if we can get a tackle for loss, now it doesn't have to be a sack. Tackle for loss, we have a 93% chance of either stopping them on 4th down or making them punt the football. So that's good when you talk about schematically some of the things we're going to talk about in a second, of feeding that into your defense. And if any of you guys are defensive line coaches in here, that's awesome for your kids, right? To say, hey, we get a sack or a TFL here, man. There you go, coach. I see you. We get a sack or a TFL. We have a 93% chance of not allowing a score, and I'm sure your head coaches will love that too. No passes over 25 yards, but again, that goes into what you guys want to define as an explosive play. Okay, so those are our goals. So you guys you got our fundamental foundational principles of our defense, and then you got the goals for us. What we preach to our kids every day. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'll get into now. I'll do our tackling stuff for you guys, and then I'll get into our schematic stuff. I'll get into our nickel stuff and our 3-4 defense for you guys. Just get out of this real quick. Okay. And our tackling stuff is pretty is complex, but what I do is I delegate it to different position groups. Let's see. I'll pull up now. Here we go. I don't know why this is not pulling up. There we go. Okay, so I'm a master trainer for USA Football. So what I'm going to give you guys is our advanced tackling system and kind of like what it's built around. And if any of you guys have any kind of experience with rugby, it's very similar. So if some of you guys have learned about like the Seahawk tackle, the near foot, near shoulder, it's very, very similar, but it's a little bit involved as far as the breakdown of the tackle and kind of how we grade it. But again, I can get this to coach and he can send this to you guys. Or if you guys want to reach out to me, I have the actual Word documents and Excel spreadsheets that you guys can use. Again, you're talking about something tangible for your kids, something they can hold in their hand and they can understand what they need to improve on. I think that's something that it's very important, especially with kids today, because a lot of them are into this self-gratification. They want to know what they can do to get better, but if they have it on paper and then you guys have a copy of it, it's something for you guys. When you meet as a defense, you guys can go over this stuff. Okay. You know what? I'm going to I'm going to X out of this. And I'm going to go into this. Here we go. That's why. Here we go. Now we're okay. All right. So first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about. So these are the 5 fights. Now we're going to talk about things like VDAs, which are visual decision activities. So basically you're training their eyes and their body to tackle differently. We adopted this and there's a guy that we got this from. He actually works with USA Football. The guy's name is Richie Gray. He's from Scotland. And it's Gray. You guys can YouTube his website, and he actually has a tackling system with the pads that we use. Now, you guys don't have to buy the pads, but the cool thing with the system is that he has videos on the website that you guys can watch for free. So even if you don't want to buy the tackling pads, you can see the video stuff that we do in practice. So we talk about the 5 fights: fight to track, prepare, connect, accelerate, and finish. And I'm gonna start with the negative first, and negative not in the sense of really bad, but it's the time that you're going to need to teach. The biggest thing that we had to teach our kids was staying on their feet, not leaving their feet to make a tackle. Now, again, when you're talking about trying to save a touchdown and you're on an angle tackle, and you know what I mean, that's a different story. But I'm talking about a one-on-one, whether it's in the box or an open field tackle. That was the hardest thing for us, was teaching our kids to stay on their feet. Because here's the deal, right? One of the mainstay in our weight room, and I'm sure you guys know this too, is the power clean, right? So you have a kid that can power clean 500 pounds, but if he leaves his feet, he's lost everything. So that was our biggest issue, was the first 2.5 to 3 weeks, was getting our kids to maintain keeping their feet in the ground. And again, it's a learning curve because you're teaching them something new, right? So the first part is the fight to track. And this is something that you guys have been teaching for a long, long time. It's tracking the near hip and keeping your eyes on the speed of the ball carrier. And then also taking into consideration, you know, are we going through blockers? Are we going, if it's a linebacker as opposed to a safety or a cornerback or defensive lineman, they operate in a little bit different space than a linebacker or a safety. So you want to incorporate these drills and one thing I can't stress enough is make it as game-like as possible when you guys do these drills. You know what I mean? Because you want them to do this in the game. So, you know, or if you're doing your situational stuff in practice, so make it as game-like as possible. So when we're talking about tracking the hip, we want to track the hip, the speed of the ball carrier, and then the way we do it is I'll show you guys, I'll grab my whiteboard here. That way you guys can kind of see how we set this up. And I think this is great for all 3 positions, to be honest with you. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your drill up. You're going to have 4 cones, but you're going to have I just put offensive lineman there. You can have, it could be a manager, it could be whoever. Yes, sir.
I think we can't see your screen. We only see the advanced tackling.
Oh, you guys can't see the video?
No.
Really?
Ihr müsst auf seinen Bildschirm klicken. Ihr habt am Rand noch andere Bildschirme und ihr müsst da durchklicken, bis ihr ihn gefunden habt. Und dann müsst ihr da doppelklicken.
Okay. You guys can see the screen. You just can't see me.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's weird.
We see huddle now.
Okay, you guys see huddle? All right. So you guys can see this, right? Coach, you can see the advanced tackling stuff?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know why my video stopped, but
I can see you now.
You can see me now. Okay. Can you see, Coach? Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. Okay. Good. All right. So getting back to this drill, guys. You can have like managers stand in front of the cones, but basically what you're doing is you're teaching them how to read through people. All right. So you have your running back here. You're going to stay on his inside hip, and again, you could do your D lineman, your linebackers, your secondary. You guys can do this in your individuals. So you're gonna give the running back a number. So here's hole number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you're gonna have the running back. He's gonna jog, sprint, walk, but that defender has to maintain inside leverage on that hip. And the one good coaching point here is I always tell my guys, it's a real good acronym. It's if you're playing defense and you're tackling the open field, it's ABC. Always be closing. Okay? You don't want to give that guy too much space. Now, some of you guys are old enough to remember Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders. Some of you guys may not be, right? Okay, but you never wanted to give those cats space. You want to condense that space, even though they probably make all of us miss in a phone booth, right? But at least we could say we were trying to tackle them a little bit. You know what I mean? So but that's kind of what I always tell my guys. I always say ABC, always be closing. So you can run through this. It's a really good drill. And what you're doing is you're teaching them to be able to read through linemen, right? So you're in parent, that's one of those visual decisions. So you're tracking, okay? And that gets to my next one, the fight to prepare. So once you decide you're gonna make contact, your preparation is you're transitioning your movement, your body posture. So you're gonna maintain low leverage. You're gonna get your claws ready for, we talk about our claws are up here, right? Okay. So now as we prepare to make connection, our accuracy and our shoulder accuracy, we're gonna look for the strike zone. Okay. So now we talk about two things. We talk about strike zone and we talk about levels. Okay, so the strike zone hypothetically with your shoulder is from the bottom of the shoulder pad to the belt buckle. That's ideally where we want to make that contact. Okay, now obviously depending on your angle and how fast you're running, okay, if you're maintaining good leverage, that's ideally where we want to make contact with our near shoulder. Okay, now when we make contact, we're going to keep our cleats in the ground. We're going to keep our feet running, okay? And then when we finish, we want to finish on top of the ball carrier, still driving our feet. And that was the biggest issue for us, was keeping our kids to keep their feet moving. Because I'm sure you guys, you have the kid that goes like this. They make contact, they fall off, and then the offensive guy keeps running, okay? But this really helped us. Once our kids got it, all three positions, this really helped us maintain good contact and driving our feet. So another drill that we do, and again, you guys can separate this into your three positions, is right here. You have your D line, your linebacker, and your defensive back. They're gonna, and you're gonna tell them, hey, this is a right shoulder tackle. That way, everybody's going the same way. All right. They're gonna get in their stance. On the whistle, they're going to make contact with the pad, and they're going to drive the pad through this cone 5 yards downfield. Once they've done it, they're going to hear a second whistle, and then they're done. But what you're going to condition in their minds and what you're going to alleviate is that making contact and now falling off. You're going to keep that contact going, and our offensive guys got so pissed at us because we kept driving. But I told my head coach, I was like, hey, listen, would you rather have him fall off and then your guy run for an extra 20 yards? And he's like, well, no. I said, well, let us keep driving, right? So it takes a while. But that's the acceleration. When you're reforming, you're making contact and your claws are in the back. And now when you finish on top of the ball carrier. We call it on top of the deck. And we're going to drive that extra 5 yards through, okay? But you're getting them to, the way you can stress it is, you know, when you guys talk about the X and X, S plus T minus X, like we don't want the X, right? We don't want the explosive run. We don't want those cornerbacks or those safeties making the hit on those receivers, on those quick bubble screens or a tunnel screen. We don't want to give up 25 yards. So we're going to drive. We're going to keep driving until we hear. And this would be like a camp thing for you, right? This is going to be like your introduction into it. Okay. One other drill that I'll show you guys that I think is pretty good. And this is more for the, now you could do this with the D line. You could split the D line up, but we do this with our linebackers and our secondary guys. Okay, we call this our four corners. So we have DB and linebacker, okay, DB, and then we have the running back. Now, this is an angle tackle drill, okay? So what I do is I stand behind the defensive guys. On the whistle, they both chop their feet. I'll point to a running back, so this guy will run this way. He now has to come close space and make a near foot, near shoulder tackle. So these guys don't know who's going until the whistle's blown when they see the guy coming. Same thing. Next one, they'll both get him chopping. This guy will go, and then the linebacker has to come and make a near foot, near shoulder tackle. So you're teaching your fundamentals, but you're also teaching them how to tackle in space. That makes sense. Okay? So those are our 5 fights. And those drills will help you with those VDAs, those visual decision actions. Now, I'm going to get into our KPIs, the key performance indicators, and how we grade tackling. Okay, so here's the 3 KPIs for each one of the 5 fights. So when you talk about the fight to track, you have your approach and your leverage. You're closing the space. You're laser focused, okay, on whatever area you're going to make contact. And I'll talk about the levels in a second with this advanced tackling, the level 1, 2, and 3, okay? The fight to prepare, so you're dipping your body. You're getting your foot stamped down in the hoop. Your claws are up. You're kind of reshaping your body to make contact. And then you're going to connect with your shoulder, your arm clamp, all right? And you're going to start to reshape as you start driving to the ground. But you're not leaving your feet. You're accelerating. You're keeping your cleats in the grass. Your feet are rolling over, and it's your right to regain your dominant position on the tackle. And then you're going to tighten the clamp. You're going to reshape, and you're going to finish, and you're not going to roll off. So the biggest thing I need to stress with you guys is allot time for them to understand that they can't leave their feet. That's the biggest thing I need to stress with you. All right, you need to allot time for them to understand to not leave their feet. Okay, all right. But so those are our key performance indicators with each one of those 5 fights. Okay. Okay. Now this is something I think that would be awesome for you guys, especially positionally. Each one of our kids gets one of these that played in the game on Friday night, on Monday when we meet with our kids, so they know what they graded on, how they graded, how many tackle attempts did they have, how many did they make, how many did they miss, assists. And again, I count an assist as somebody that actually helped with the tackle, not the kid that jumps on the pile at the end of the tackle and then wants the assist in the stat column. We don't operate like that. Okay. All right. So when we talk about the levels, you guys see it says R1 and L1. All right. So that's on the side of the player, but a level 1 tackle is from your ankle to your knee. Level 2 is from your knee to your hip. Level 3 is from your hip to right above or right below the bottom part of the shoulder pad. So the great thing about the system is that you guys can look at your film, grade them, and then going into the next week, you can curtail your tackling practice to get better at the specific area you need to get better for. Or if you're getting ready to face a really good running back and you want to concentrate on not diving at his ankles, you want to concentrate on the level 2, the knee to the hip, you guys can curtail your practice to that. Okay, coach says I got a question. What techniques can you do to strip? Oh, okay, turnover circuit. Absolutely. Okay, let me get through this, and I'll talk to you guys about our turnover circuit. Okay, so this is our spreadsheet. Now, again, you guys don't have to get involved, and if any of you guys want this, just reach out to me or reach out to coach, and I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I have a Word doc for that for the player evaluation, and I'll let you guys have it. Okay, we're all football coaches, man. So whatever I can do to help you guys, just let me know. So we do this by game, and we do this for the season. So like when we go to our meetings or colleges come in, we could talk to them, what type of tackler is he? Because obviously I deal with the defensive guys with the recruiting aspect of everything. Well, he graded out at this, he graded out like that. When we go to our all-star meetings or something like that, if you have a meeting with, if some of you guys are here, our high school guys, and parents want to know why so-and-so's not playing or, why their time's getting cut, you guys have tangible information that says, hey, listen, this is how they're grading the person playing in front of them. Or, he's grading at a 30. This guy's grading at a 90. I mean, numbers don't lie, right? At the end of the day, numbers aren't going to lie, So I'm not playing the guy that's grading out as 30%. I'm going to play the guy that's grading out at a 90%. And anything you give the kids, so those profile sheets I just showed you guys on that last one, keep a copy. Save a copy. Keep it. Have a little file folder on your laptop. But again, so this is tailored to how we grade everything off those KPIs. But again, you guys could take the spreadsheet and put anything in the columns that you want. It's just a matter of what you guys want to do. Okay. I'll talk about turnovers. All right, let me get. I want to talk to you guys about the nickel stuff in a second. But I'll talk to you guys about our turnover circuit. So a couple things. What we do is we do a turnover circuit every we call it Turnover Tuesday. Okay, so we do a turnover circuit every Tuesday. One of the things I've learned over the years of coaching and meeting with college coaches and stuff, we have a drill we do called a CPR drill. We call it club, punch, and rip. Okay, so I'll draw it up for you guys here. Okay. So we'll start with it, and all three positions will do this. So we'll start with the defender. Right here, we have the defensive back and the ball carrier. All right. So CPR, club, punch, and rip, and then they have the cone. So I tell the ball carrier, let's say the ball's in the right hand. So the defender, I'm going to have my left hand on his back, and my right hand is going to be the CPR hand. Okay. So, but I tell the ball carrier, you have to let the ball out on one of those three. Okay, when the ball comes out, then we turn it into a scoop and score or recover and roll. So really, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're teaching them how to strip the ball, but then you're also teaching them. And then you guys watch football. How many times on Sunday when you watch the NFL do you see guys not be able to recover a fumble? They don't know how to. They're kicking the ball around, and then our kids see that and they want to be like they're playing Madden, right? They want to scoop the ball up. They want to cut across the field. No, that's not what we do. Okay. So I'll blow the whistle. So club, we're going to come over the top. All right. We're going to try to punch. Now we're not going to try to punch the ball. This is the one thing that I learned. You want to teach your kid. There's a tendon right here. All right. You want to teach them to punch that bicep tendon, because when that bicep tendon's hit the right way, your arm will relax, and then that's when the ball will come out. Okay. So we're going to club. We're going to punch the ball underneath. So underneath. And then when we talk about ripping, we're going to grab the point of the ball and try to rip it out like you're starting a lawnmower. Okay. So that's how we teach the CPR drill. Now, when the ball comes out, you either have to scoop and score. If you get it on the first bounce, you pick it up, you try to run it back for a touchdown, or you recover and roll. Now, the thing with the recover and roll is you want to teach your kids to cover both points, get tight and get on a hip and get up in the fetal position, because there's going to be a ton of dudes coming in to try to jump on that ball, and you want to teach your kids to get in the safest position possible. So both hands on both points, on your hip, get in the fetal, okay? So we'll do that both sides. So we'll do right hand, everybody will go, club, punch, rip, and then we'll go right hand on the back, left hand, club, punch, and rip, okay? So that's a Turnover Tuesday drill that the whole defense will do. We'll all do together. And then, like I said, the great thing is that you're being time efficient with your practice. Okay, you're getting 2 turnover drills done in one. Now, Turnover Tuesday, we make a competition out of this. I actually like this. It's pretty fun. So in a 7-on-7 period, okay, and Coach, I know you said you're a D-line coach. You could actually do this for your one-on-one stuff if you wanted to. Okay, where you can stand back and drop the ball and have your guy recover it, or have the offensive guy try to recover it. So for a 7-on-7 or team session, any ball that's either fumbled or incomplete is live. So in 7-on-7, if a quarterback airmails a ball and that ball hits the ground, that's a live ball. So myself and our head coach will have our notebooks out, and we'll keep a tally on who recovered the most fumbles. And then at the end of the practice, the side that won doesn't have to condition. So you're teaching your kids how to compete, and they're competing against each other, and it kind of keeps practice fresh because the kids get jacked. They're like, Turnover Tuesday, I'm not running today. You guys are going to run and this, that. And then you could put point values on, like when you go team one-on-ones, if defense causes a fumble and they recover, they get 2 points. If the defense causes a fumble and the offense recover, they only get 1 point. Okay? And if the offense scores in team, they get 6 points. So you do a red zone period or a green zone period, or there's a million different ways to do it, but it's keeping practice fresh, and you're not doing the same thing over and over again, because you can change the situations all the time. Okay, so that's kind of how we stress turnover. So that's our Turnover Tuesday deal. So what I want to get into, you guys, I want to see if you got any other questions from Coach. No, not right now. Okay. What I want to get in with you guys now is I want to show you our nickel stuff. Our nickel stuff is out of a 2 down, 2 defensive lineman look. But you guys can do it out of 4 down. You can do it out of 3 down. I'm just going to show you how we line up this stuff and some of our pressures. And then I'm going to get into our 3-4 stuff and how we line up to, we have 4 different fronts out of our 3-4. And it's all one word stuff. Okay. It's all, we have an NFL stuff. And then I'll show you a couple pressures out of that. Okay. See Coach is typing here. Probably got another question. This is all good. That's what we're here for. I don't want to go back to grading papers, man. I'll stay here with you guys for a few hours, man. Okay. Get through this. That's my Twitter. Yes, I do have, Coach, I think you were typing, Coach Betterman. That's my Twitter handle. You want to follow me on Twitter and you can DM me an email address. I'll send you anything you need, brother. You got it, man. Okay. So this is our nickel base front. All right. So our the A and the J, those are our anchors and our jack. All right. Our anchor generally for us is the more athletic of the 2 kids. The jack is more of a strong safety type. We're gonna play with 2-2 techniques, and it's gonna be 2 defensive linemen. Now we don't have really big kids. Our biggest D lineman coming back is like 6'1", 230. So we don't have like 6'4", 290. We just and again, this front is a pressure-based front. So we're not gonna sit in this. We're gonna get after your ass. Like we're coming at you. We're gonna run simulated pressures. We're gonna run some man stuff. I mean, we're gonna come from the boundary, from the field. I'm a big tendency guy, so I'm going to look at your formation and then what you like to run out of that formation on what down, and then I'll build my call sheet based off your tendencies. So against 10 personnel to the side of the back, okay, we have our Viper here. This is more of our outside linebacker guy that can play in space. We'll play palms coverage, which is reading number 2, predicated off what number 2 does. But that safety is going to be patting his feet. We're not backpedaling, because if it's run, we want those guys involved in the run game. We're either away from the Viper, we'll play trap coverage, or we'll invert the safety, and that corner will become the deep half player. So when I say trap, we're going to line this guy up and press. Most of our looks are going to be out of a Tampa 2 press look. Okay? And this guy in trap, all he's going to do is undercut this guy right here. And that safety is going to get his eyes to number 1. He's not just going to turn and run over number 1. He's going to get his eyes to 1. He's still a half defender, okay? But he's here to trap and take away any type of slant or quick stuff or anything like that, all right? But that's how we're going to line up to 10 personnel in our nickel front.
I have a question.
Yes.
Everybody see your screen? Because I just see you, but not the screen you're explaining to.
Really?
Yeah, but it's
okay.
MS or?
Let me see.
Klaus, klick mal das Bild an, dann hast du rechts oben so ein kleines Zeichen.
Wie heißt
Coach,
das?
can you see that?
Wenn du das Bild anklickst, den Kopf, dann hast du oben rechts ein Zeichen, dass du Halbbildschirm und Licht, dann hast du beides.
Yeah. Okay, I'm now. Okay, thank you.
Good.
Got you, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm not that much of a tech guy.
Thank you.
All right, so here's nickel versus 11 personnel pro. So same thing, all right? Now, again, we changed personnel a little bit against 11. We moved our Viper up to the tight end. We brought another safety rover type kid in. All right, but we'll play quarters coverage to this side. So basically, even in our base stuff, we're going to play coverage to the passing strength. We're probably going to combo it and play man away from the passing strength. So like here, we'd probably be 0. So he'd be press man. The safety would be reading 2. We'd be playing some type of palms or 2 read or something on this side. And again, these guys in 2s and then moving somewhere. Okay, but I just want to show you guys how we would line up to an 11 personnel pro set. Okay, but again, just 2 down linemen. I mean, we got 9 dudes that can get after it. All right, and here's an 11 wing front. Okay, and again, you can play this a couple different ways. You can play a hard corner Tampa, where this guy's just bailing in the deep half. We'll play palms or a 2-read over here because, again, this is generally where you get a lot of your RPO stuff is to the slot, and they're going to try to read this guy. But if this guy just stays in the passing window, they got nobody to read. Here's the thing with RPO, guys. Two things I love to do against RPO. One is frustrate the hell out of the quarterback. Two is make them hand the ball off. They don't want to hand the ball off. They want to pull the ball and get the ball out in space to their guys on the perimeter. When you make RPO teams hand the ball off, the play caller gets frustrated, and that's when you get them in calling things they don't want to call. They don't want to run gap scheme. They want their highlights to look pretty. The quarterback pulling it, throwing on the perimeter, their guy juking and doing this. Make them hand the ball off. All right? Make them hand the ball off. So that's how we line up to that. All right, now we're getting to the fun stuff. Okay, so so everything for us, like I told you guys about our 3-4. Our four fronts and our 3-4 are all AFC East NFL teams. The 3 pressures in this set out of our nickel are all weather related. So we have rain, we have thunder, we have lightning. So the kids know, so I, as a play caller, I only have to call because they're going to know we're in nickel. So I don't have to call nickel. So all I got to do is call rain, lightning, or thunder. Okay, and that's it. The kids know what they got to do based on formation. So right now, all right, this for us. So here's the thing with rain. You want to show heavy overload pressure away from the strength. So right here, the strength is to the Y, is to the tight end. But we have an overload look to the 2-man surface. So they're going to set their protection, or they're going to make some kind of call to that side, which is what we want. Okay? That's what we want. We want them making that call. So now, on the snap, we're trapping to this side. So if the quarterback wants to throw hot, good luck. He's throwing right into a trap corner. Safety is a deep half player. Our anchor is rushing really, really wide. Okay? So he's almost in like a loose 9. Okay? Our Mike has the snatch of 2, all right? And he has to play the C gap. Okay? Meaning the snatch of 2 is the only time he has to help on a pass route is a crossing route or a vertical route. If that guy goes out, he doesn't have to help because he's running it out right into that trap corner. Okay? All right? This guy's going first, the end. This guy's rushing wide. The jack is your wrap defender, okay? In this backside A gap, the will is dropping. He's going to help on anything to the B gap. The Viper is a push defender. He's a hook curl defender. Now, the key point here is if he's pushing into the boundary, he doesn't have to get really wide because he doesn't have a whole lot to go. If he's to the field, he's got a little bit to go, so he's got a kind of collision number 2. And again, you can play Tampa. We would probably play Tampa to this to take away the quick stuff because we're still 3/2 here in the numbers game. You hear a lot of these offensive guys talk about numbers. Well, we'll 3/2. And you're going to set your protection to that overload side. And guys, the great thing about these pressures that I'm going to show you, you don't have to sacrifice coverage because, look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a simulated pressure. We're showing 6, but we're only rushing 4, and we're still covering with 7, which is awesome, which is really, really good. So this is rain for us. Now, again, you can run this middle of the field. You can run this to the boundary. You can run this to the field. Doesn't matter, okay? Just depending on the key point here is your guys got to know when you call rain, it's where is the strength because I got to line up. Your overload guys have to line up away from it to make them set their protection that way. So for me, this is like a 2nd and 7, 3rd and 7 plus pressure. You're rushing 4, but you're still covering. And again, you got your trap corner and you got your Tampa corner to the overload side. So all the quick stuff is negated. It's all taken away. All right. All right, here's your boundary pressure. Okay, coach. Who is the picker or the wrap player on the rain blitz? Let's get back to that real quick. Just got a question here. Okay, nope, went too far. There we go. Okay, coach. So all right. So the wrap guy. All right. So your end is first. Your will is dropping. Will is your number 3 to hole player, but he's also playing the B gap. The jack is your wrap guy, so he's going second. Now, I'm glad Coach asked that question. Here's a key coaching point for your will here. If you're going to run this to 3x1, whether it's 3x1 with the tight end, 3x1 open, okay? This dropper who has number 3 vertical, if there's speed at 3, so if there's a guy that can motor at number 3, he can't hold the look that long. He has to get out of there because he's got to run with 3 vertical. Now, if it's a big tight end type kid, he can hang in there a little bit more because he knows he can run with that tight end down the field. But if you got like a 5'10" burner, he's got to move. He's got to move, okay? So you have the end going first again, coach, and your jack's wrapping. Your will's got 3 control to hook. All right, here we go. All right, so here's our boundary pressure. I love this pressure, okay? Thunder, all right? So if you get a team that's a heavy run team into the boundary, or you get a team that likes to throw into the boundary, have a quarterback trying to throw into a blitzing corner, okay? All right, so Thunder, we're coming with the corner. The anchor is now a C-gap player. Your 2 ends are pinching the A-gaps. You're firing your will. You have your jack. Now, here's the thing. The jack here is a peel defender. So if that back swings, all right, the jack's got to pick him up, okay? All right, you're 3/2 here, so you're going to be either Tampa or Palms or whatever you want to do, and you're trapping the boundary. So again, your Mike here, all right, he's looking for any type of slant or anything coming inside. So he can still play his B gap because you're running this from the boundary. So he doesn't have to detach from the box that fast. Okay? And again, you're coming from depth. So now I just showed you a simulated pressure with rain. Thunder, I showed you a pressure coming from depth. All right, so again, the great thing about this nickel package is you're giving offensive coordinators multiple looks at different times. All right, so now you're also now having them taking up practice time to practice against this stuff, which as defensive guy, I love. Make those guys think because they want to try to outsmart you with all their formations and all their jargon and stuff. Okay, so again, for us, this would be nickel, thunder for us. Okay, boundary corner. Okay. The last one in the family here, okay, out of that same look is now lightning. So now you're getting you have 4 up, but now you're sending 6. Now, this dude's got a haul, okay? You're locking up backside, okay? You're locking up into the boundary because this is a field. So I showed you a pressure from the boundary. This is now a pressure from the field, okay? So you got this guy's your long stick guy. This end has to go work C-gap to contain, all right? Your will's hitting this A-gap on the run. Your Viper's coming hot, all right? That jack, what I would tell you guys, if you're going to run this, widen him out so that because again, this is going to be your man side. This is going to be your slide side, okay? So have that jack get a little wide so that tackle comes out so that Viper gets a clear run through that B-gap, okay? You're going to bring your free down to take away any hot. You're trapping you're trapping this side. This dude's got to move because he's a deep half defender reading 2-1, okay? But all you need to do with those guys is coach landmarks. Like, so what we do is we'll do a barrel blitz period. We'll run this on barrels, and we'll put cones out and tell our guys, hey, you need to get there, all right? So don't be so hell-bent on his alignment because, again, he's coming from the boundary, and he has to get to the field. He's got a long, long way to go. But coach them with their landmarks, okay? So that's a sim pressure, rain, and then 2 pressures out of the 4-down nickel stuff, thunder and lightning. So that's our weather family nickel pressures, okay? And again, if you guys want this presentation, reach out and I will send it, okay? I will send it. I'll get into our 3-4 stuff next. Okay, so we have 4 different fronts out of our 3-4. we have Bills, we have Pats, we have Jets, and we have Fins. Okay? So Bills for us is base. So it's a 0 and 2 5s. Okay? But the good thing is that we can stem and move based off of, so we can say, hey, listen, this week we're lining up pre-snap and Bills, we're going to stem the Jets, or we're going to stem the Pats, or we're going to stem the Fins. And again, the cool thing is it's all one word. It's all one word. So we're 0, 2 5s. And again, based on coverage. So we'll be palms here, probably be 0 backside here. All right. Key coaching point is to any 2x2 set, you want to make your 4th rusher and your 3 down stuff one of your 2 inside backers. Okay? So for us, this would be Bills, and we're sending our Mike. So Mick is Mike in the A gap. Mob is Mike in the B gap. Mash is Mike in the backside A gap with the nose crossing. Okay? Because you don't want to mess with, on rundowns, in my opinion, you don't want to mess with your force guys, your force defenders, your run support guys. So send an inside backer. Okay, send an inside backer. So again, so this will be Bills, Mick, Mob, or Mash for us. Okay, and if you want to send the Will, so we have Whack, Webb, and Water. So it's the same thing. It just depends on who you're sending. Make sense? I mean, again, you don't want to mess with your overhangs. You don't want to mess with your run support. You want to force everything back. That's one thing when we met with the University of Georgia, we asked them, because we were transitioning to the 3-4. We said, well, how do you guys handle 2x2? And they said, well, we'll if we're going to sit in our base 3 down stuff, we only want to we want to make our 4th rusher one of our 2 inside guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. Coach might have a question here. What verb? Oh, okay. Yeah, Coach. So our verbiage. So when we're going to stem, we'll say that week that if we're going to be in our 3 down stuff, we'll tell the kids Monday, hey, every time we're in our 3 down stuff, we're going to line up in Bills. All right. So, and we'll either do the stem off the play clock, or we'll do the stem off the quarterback's hands. Okay. And we'll have the linebackers, all they're going to do is make a move call. So our linebackers will say, all right, move, and then we'll stem. Okay? Because we don't want to give the offense an advantage. Generally what we'll do is, because we have 2 play clocks at each end of our field, I'll have the 2 inside guys look and say, listen, based off our film study, these guys like to call the play at 9 seconds. We're going to stem at 11 seconds to maybe make them eat up some more time, or maybe burn a timeout. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Next. All right, so this is our Pats front. So this is 0, 2, 4 eyes. Great against gap scheme. Okay. Now the thing is with I get a lot of questions on the 4 eye stuff, and I actually got to talk with the DC at Wisconsin yesterday, Jim Leonard, and I asked him. I said, what do you teach your 4 eyes? And he says they're going to launch to the inside shoulder of the tackle. Okay, but if they get 2 zone blocks, they're going to work back to the B gap. They're going to work back to the guard. Okay, because if they keep climbing with that tackle, they're going to get hit, and then they're going to get washed, and they're going to create a gap. So if you're going to run Pats, make sure with your 4 eyes, they're going to launch to the tackle. But if they get fan, they got to work back to the B gap to cut off that zone play. So again, this for us is Pats. So I like it because it's one word. Okay, it's one word. Next one for us is Jets. So this is our under front. So you can see we're 9-5 shade, 3-5. Okay, that's our under front. So Jets is under for us. Again, any type of weak side run. Obviously 3 techniques. Watch out for trap. You make sure we're coaching them to look inside. If they we got a down block, we got to squeeze it, and we're a wrong arm spill team. We're not a box team. We're going to spill everything, and that goes for our outside guys too. Okay. One thing, I got a question the other day. If you guys face a team that runs a lot of buck sweep, you get both guards pulling. I suggest that what I've been taught is that you fence a short pull. So like, for example, if we were to get down and this guard pulled, I'd have the anchor, I call it like shovel and snow. I'd have him squeeze, and instead of him turning his body on a short pull, I'd have him stick his foot in the ground and go like this. And then you get a better collision on that short pull. Now, if it's a deep pull, let's say they're going to run one back power where everybody goes down, then he's going to squeeze, and now he's going to spill and get underneath that. So I always teach our guys, we're going to fence a short pull and spill a long pull. And we'll work that stuff in individuals. Okay, and this is our fins front. So this is just our straight over front. So, 3 technique to the tight end. So we're 9-3 shade 5. Okay, so Bills 0-2-5s, Pat 0-2-4 eyes, Jets under, fins over. So those are our 4 fronts. And again, you guys want to stem on whenever your first day of practice is, hey, guy, you might want to line up in this and then stem to something. You just say, hey, this week we're going to line up in fins and then we're going to stem. And again, when you watch film, that's one thing we talked about, like the little details. See when they're snapping the ball. Do you face offenses where the quarterback shows his hands and then looks to the sideline to get the hand signals and stuff? So watch that when you guys break down film, okay? I'm going to go over one more thing because I like this stuff. All right, that's a 3-4. All right, so this is so if we want to send, if we're 10 personnel, if we want to send the left outside linebacker or the right outside linebacker, okay? So this for us is Louisville because it's the left outside linebacker going, and he's making a Roy call. So if our D-line hears Roy, they know they're going right. So it'll come in, all right, they're going to know we're in base, and it's 10 personnel. So we're just going to say, hey, Louisville. And the anchor's going to go, hey, Roy. Those guys are all going right. So we rush 4, we cover with 7. All right? If we want to send the right linebacker, we just go Rutgers. So we say, hey, Rutgers, and he's going to go Lee. Lee means the defensive line. Here's Lee. Everybody's going left. Okay, so we get that 4th rusher, and then we're still playing with coverage. Okay? So that's a good way to, on 3rd and long, if you don't want to pressure, you get 10 personnel. If a team's like a big heavy screen or a tunnel screen team, you still get that 4th rusher, and he's more of an athlete, but you're in constant communication. And again, the X up here, so let's say we want to call Rutgers X, okay? All that means is that this end is now going to be upfield. This end is going to be upfield, and this guy's going to come underneath it. So he'll still make the Lee call, but he's going to say, hey, Lee X. So that end knows he's now trying to bring that tackle, and we're bringing that guy underneath. And then the same thing here with Louisville. Okay, so if we go Louisville X, hey, Roy X. So now this guy knows he's high and he's underneath. So you're still rushing 4, you're just giving him a different look. Okay? Coach, I'm good if we got any questions, man.
No, I don't think we got any questions until now.
Okay. What was I going to say? I mean, like I said, everybody coaches differently, but I think fundamentally everybody's the same principle-wise. I hope, again, I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time out today, man. This was awesome. I'd love to do this again. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. The book is a Kindle version, or it's a paperback. The first 4 chapters are all defensive philosophy stuff. 4-3, 4-2-5, 3 safety against the RPO, stopping the triple option, and then the next chapters are building a staff, recruiting, culture, things like that. It's an easy read too. It's like 56 pages, 60 pages. I'm actually going to be writing a second book that's going to come out in June, and a lot of this stuff is going to be in it. So our nickel stuff, how we defend empty, it'll be a good follow-up. But again, please reach out if you guys want any of the presentation stuff. If you guys want any of the documents, DM me, follow me on Twitter, shoot me your emails, and I'll get this stuff out to you guys. But I'm flattered and humbled to be able to be on with you guys today. This was an awesome experience, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach, for the presentation. I got 5 pages full of notes from your presentation, and I just want to thank you for your great presentation. I think everyone can get some points out of your speak, and get some points to get better. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to let everybody know that's not a Zoom background. That's my palm trees in Florida.
That's nice, Coach.
Coach, you got a question or anything, or?
No, I just thank you. Thank you for your presentation. And
oh, awesome, man. No, this was great, man. And like I said, we're all sitting home, man. So anything you guys need, I'm here.
Yeah, we've got a question, Coach. Coach Wilken asked, how do you plan conditioning in the off season, especially for the big guys, offensive line, defensive line?
So I mean, we have right now we have guys. I have a really good friend of mine that's a trainer. So he developed like an 8-week, because we can't meet with our guys now because we're not allowed in school and nobody can meet up. So we work out. So like in a normal situation, like if we were back, like today was supposed to be our first day of spring practice, like a normal situation, like when we go into the summer, we work out Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 in the morning. So we live from 8 to 9, and then we condition from 9 to 10. The kids have to make 85% of the days, because we understand, vacations and stuff like that. But we do that as a team. So we get together with our strength and conditioning coach, who's also my secondary coach, and we come up with what we're going to do each day. Like I tend to, for the bigger guys, we do these things called Indian runs, where we have a 200-yard grass practice field in the back of our school, and I get them in a single file line, and then they jog all along the perimeter. But I'll blow the whistle, and the guy from the back has to sprint to the front every time the whistle blows. So not only are you getting the distance, right, you're getting the miles, but now you're incorporating some sprinting to it. And then what we'll do also is our offensive guys will do like a hurry up period. So they'll start on the 5-yard line, and they'll run plays every 10 yards. And they'll just have one of the young coaches just spot the ball. That way you're getting reps. The kids are getting tired and they're thinking. And then as a team too, a lot conditioning, we'll do 110s, which I think helps us tremendously. We'll do timed 110s for each position group. But that's just kind of stuff that, that we do. Anybody else, Coach?
The coach is asking, what is a 110?
Yeah, so we line them up on the goal line, and they have to run through the other end zone.
Yeah, every 10 yards, right?
From goal line to goal line is 100 yards, but the end zone is an extra 10. So we line them up at the goal line, and we have them run, and we split them up into big skill, medium skill, small skill. So big skill are obviously the tight end lineman types, O-line, D-line, tight end guys. And we have our linebackers and safeties. And then we have our, and our wide receivers, our DBs, and our quarterbacks with our running backs. So I like that because you're getting kids to compete against other kids that are the same position as them. So you can see who's working and who's not, but it also too, they get to run with guys around their same, obviously you get kids that are, like a couple of years ago, we have a kid that's playing tight end at Notre Dame, and he was just a freak. He was 6'7", 260, he could run like the wind. But, those kids are, once every couple of years, you get those type of kids.
Okay, great, Coach. I think we don't have another question.
I have a last question for you. I do the defense line for the Crocodiles, and you guys are not that big, so you talk about 6'6", 163, and 230 pounds.
Yep.
What are you coaching when you're playing bigger guys, like big tackles? I don't know, 280. Is there special techniques you tell them?
So I mean, you know, yeah. So out of our 4-down stuff, we always stayed in 2-2 techniques, coach. So we were always head up on the guards, and we moved every play.
Okay.
So like, you know, we played with a team. We played Riverdale High School in Florida here in the States, and Riverdale has they're like a real country school, so real big linemen. So our whole thing is that we're not going to line up in a technique and allow you to get an angle on us. We're going to line up and we're going to move. And I don't care if you know where we're moving, because, right, offensive linemen, they have rules for their certain plays. Yeah. So now when you mess with that picture, now you get them thinking and they're not moving as fast as you are. So what we teach our guys is, like, if we're going to go to the left, you know, we're going to punch with our outside hand, and we're going to get skinny and rip and grab grass and get into our gap and get a nice base. Now, the only thing that I would suggest is that if you're facing a team that's a trap team that likes to run trap, is especially like if you're going to send those 2 techniques, because our rules were, if we had 10 personnel, we'd send them away from the back because of the zone. Or if there's a tight end, we're going to send him to the tight end. So that kid that is becoming the 3 when he's moving to the tight end, just make sure he's looking inside, because you don't want him to get ear holds and then create a seam for that trap. So that's the only drawback I would say. But if you have small guys, line them up in 2s and move them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So,
anybody else, coach?
I don't think so. I'll check this chat.
Okay.
So, no, I think no questions. Thank you very much, coach. When we don't have another question, just let me thank you again for your great presentation. I think we can take some nuggets from your presentation to implement into our teams. Yeah, saying good stuff. Thanks. So, thank you very much, coach.
Okay, guys. Hey, again, reach out if you guys need anything. Thank you.
Bye, coach.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks.